this haul. So this is everything I accumulated in 2022. Well, like in November and December. And some of it is kind of recent, but it counts as a Christmas present. And I was gonna film a book haul, and now I'm like, maybe I need 2 book hauls. I think that's all the books on my shelf that you haven't seen. But my whole goal is to get my book hauls filmed so that I can organize my bookshelves and find my 23 must-reads for 2023. I had an idea of what books I wanted. Then I obtained more books. And it would be unfair to continue to pick those books when I have all these other choices. It would not surprise me if we have 80 to 100 books here. At the end, I will count them, maybe. I'm actually very overwhelmed right now. I did not realize I got this many books. Let's just jump into this book haul. I'm going to start with this small stack on the floor. These are the books that I have either already read, so I bought them because they're favorites, or I bought them and then I read them right away. This is by far my smallest stack. So, Don't Fall in Love by Jackie Lu. This is such a cute romantic comedy about this girl. She owns a bakery and she's trying to teach this guy Ryan, he's an actor, how to bake. And they really don't like each other because the first time they met, you know, things were not good. Things did not go well. And, you know, it's a slow burn, hate to love romance. It's very funny. Then, you know what? I can't tell you a whole lot about all of these because we have so many books to go through. I feel like more than likely, this will be broken up into 2 different videos. But we'll see, okay? There's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. So all these books I've read and enjoyed. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda, my favorite book by her so far. And See You Yesterday by Rachel Lynn Solomon. We have Replay by Ken Grimwood. This is about this 40-year-old man named Jack who, it's like his 40th birthday and he's really, really depressed and wishes that he could relive his life, and his wish becomes reality. So I got Malice by Heather Walter. This is like a twisted fairy tale of sorts. A princess isn't supposed to fall for an evil sorceress, but in this darkly magical retelling of Sleeping Beauty, true love is more than a simple fairy tale. You're Invited by Amanda Julitza? Jayatisa? Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry I butchered that. What could be worse than your ex-boyfriend marrying your childhood best friend? Getting accused of her murder. So I think this follows a girl named Amaya, who goes to her ex-best friend's wedding when she's getting married to her ex-boyfriend, and then the bride goes missing, and I'm assuming she's presumed dead. Killing November by Adriana Mather. This is a fast-paced young adult thriller. November is as good as dead. She just doesn't know it yet. I think this takes place at an academy, and there's like a secret society. Then there's They're Watching You by Chelsea Ishoza. Every secret society has its privileges and its sacrifices. When a secret society has you in their sights, it can lead to power, privilege, or even death. I got myself a copy of Hyde by Kristen White. I've actually heard differing things on this one, but it takes place at an amusement park, which there's like a map of the amusement park here. But it takes place at this amusement park, and the challenge is to spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize is enough money to change everything. Then I have The Brightlands by John Fram. I feel like this is a different cover than I know about. You Won't Come Back the Same. The town of Bentley holds two things dear: its football and its secrets. When star quarterback Dylan goes missing, fear grips this remote corner of Texas. Dylan's brother Joel, a gay man with secrets of his own, is convinced there's more to the disappearance than meets the eye. And then I got Hidden Pictures by Jason Roulock. I've heard so many amazing things about this book. I think it just came out too, like recently, but I don't know. So, fresh out of rehab, Mallory takes a job in the suburb of Springbrook, New Jersey, as a babysitter for Ted and Caroline. She's to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Mallory immediately loves this new job. She lives in the Maxwell's pool house, goes on nightly runs, and has the stability she craves. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, a sweet, shy boy who is never without the sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare: trees, rabbits, balloons, but one day he draws something different: a man in a forest dragging a woman's lifeless body. And the cool thing about this book in particular is that, like, you actually have the pictures that Teddy has been drawing. I've just heard so many wonderful things about this, so I guess we'll just go to the next bag, and then, yeah, we'll just keep going. This is Minor Dramas and Other Catastrophes by Kathleen West. A dazzling debut about micromanaging parents, overworked teachers, and the students caught in the middle when student drama spreads beyond the campus at Liston Heights High in Minneapolis. There is Murder at Sunrise Lake by Kristen Vian. It starts in her dreams, hideous flashes from a nightmare only she can stop. Images of a murderer stalking the ones she cares about most. This is Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. This was a Book of the Month choice in April. I don't remember it though. Ooh, it still has a Book of the Month bookmark in here. When the body of Desiree Pierce is found on a playground in New York City the morning after her 25th birthday, the police and the media are quick to declare her death an overdose. A tragedy certainly, but not a crime, except for Desiree's half-sister. There is palmistry. I just really want to get back into my spiritual side, and I've always been intrigued to read palms, and when I was younger, I kind of knew a little bit, but I'm a little rusty, so I just want to get back into that. Then there's The Secrets of Astrology, a complete guide to sun signs, planets, houses, and more. I've always been intrigued by astrology. I don't know as much as I wish I did, so. Then we have The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. This is the first in the Shades of London series. I'm going into 2023 not being afraid to start new series or to even continue or read series in general, because that's been something that was a big fear of mine, but not anymore. Jack the Ripper is back, and he's coming for Rory next. Well, they're kind of all mixed up, but some of these were for Christmas and some of them were before Christmas. These were part of my Christmas present. This is A Journey to the New World, the diary of Remember Patience Whipple, Mayflower 1620, Dear America, Dear America, Dear America. So they're all part of the Dear America series. This one is Dreams in the Golden Country, New York City, 1903. And this one is A Coal Miner's Bride, Vladimir, Pennsylvania, 1896. I think I'm actually going to put these in my classroom. Some of, my kids really love the I Survived series, which is, if you don't know, this series, middle grade series, that chapter books. So, and they discuss different historical events that have happened, like 9/11. There's Pearl Harbor and things like that. And I want my students to have access to these kind of books so that they can read more historical fiction, based on true things. So this is actually going to my classroom. This is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. So it might be a romantic suspense. Then there's The Bone House by Brian Breeman. Hillary and Max are trapped in a web of suspicion. Last year, accusations of a torrid affair with the student cost Mark his teaching job and made the young couple into outcasts in the remote island town off the Lake Michigan coast. Now a different teenage girl is found dead on a deserted beach. And once again, Mark faces a hostile town convinced of his guilt. Then I got The Man Who Died Twice, which is the second in the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Fun fact, I also have the Thursday Murder Club. I see it over there. By Richard Osman. I bought these two. Well, I bought that one first, and then I got this one on clearance. And this follows a ragtag team of elderly people who live in this retirement, who are obsessed with true crime. And then I believe there's a murder in the retirement village, and they start investigating it. And there's Book of Angels by Sylvia Brown. Again, I just want to get more to my spiritual side again. So there's Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. This is a thriller. How far does the apple really fall from the tree? Millie's mom is a serial killer. Though Millie loves her mom, the only way to make her stop is to turn her into the police. Millie is giving a fresh start, a new identity, a home, and a foster family. Girl at the Edge by Karen Dietrich. Not a single resident of St. Augustine, Florida can forget the day that Michael Joshua Hayes walked into a shopping mall and walked out the mass murder of 11 people. So there's The Cactus by Sarah Haywood. Even the prickliest cactus can have its flowers. This one is a hate to love romance. I think it's brother's best friend, but it's also... Okay, so Susan Green, messy emotions don't fit into the equation of her perfectly ordered life. She has a flat that is ideal for one, a job that suits her passion for logic, but suddenly confronted with the loss of her mom and the news that she's about to become a mom herself, Susan's greatest fear is realized. She is losing control. Oh, this is... Oh my gosh. Not anymore. Okay. Number 2 through 11 of A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is a middle grade series in which you follow these 3 orphans. After their parents pass away, they go to this estranged uncle's house to live, but he doesn't treat them very well. And I'm not entirely sure what else happens in this series, but there's like 11 books. And I did buy the first one. The first one's in paperback because I couldn't find the matching set. But my plan is to read all of these hopefully by June or July. So the first half of the year, so that next school year I can read a chapter a day to my next students, because I think that this would be an amazing book to read to them. Of course, I have to read it for the first time to make sure that, you know, the content is appropriate for 2nd grade. I'm sure it will be because it's middle grade, but I want to experience it first. There's Group, How One Therapist and a Circle of Strangers Saved My Life by Christy Tate. I believe this is a nonfiction. And this is one that I heard about a long time ago. Well, like a couple years ago, I feel like. And it's just been kind of always something that I've wanted to read. Then I have This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. I started this book. I'm not liking it. I'm honestly tempted to DNF it. How far am I though? I'm only 20 pages in, but I don't think the writing is for me. But it's basically about this girl whose dad is in ICU, and she's, you know, like taking care of everything, and she's also going to see him, and her mom and dad divorced a long time ago, and her mom is basically like, yeah, whatever, and doesn't really show any empathy or anything towards her daughter. And like I said, I'm only 20 pages in, so that's all that I know. But I think that on her birthday, because her birthday is next week, I think on her birthday she gets to like relive her life. I have Lucky by Marissa Stapley. That name sounds familiar to me. Let's see. What if you had the winning ticket that could change your life forever, but you couldn't cash it in? Lucky is a tough, talented grifter who has just pulled off $1 million heist with her boyfriend, Carrie. She's ready to start a brand new life with a new identity when things go sideways. Lucky finds herself alone for the first time, navigating the world without the help of either her dad or her boyfriend, the two figures from whom she's learned the art of the scam. And now all we have left is these books. I say all we have left, but that's a lot of books. A lot of books. Okay, if the angle changed a little, it's because I tried to rearrange things a little bit. Let's try to speed run this. I mean, to be honest, this isn't as long as I thought it would be. Knock on wood. But yeah, let's just finish this up. So in November, I went to Walmart and I got these beautiful, wonderful bind-ups of Jessica Goodman and Jessie Q Satano. There's They Wish They Were Us and They'll Never Catch Us by Jessica Goodman. And The New Girl and the Obsession by Jessie Q Santano. These are young adult thrillers. Then there's The Finalists by David Bell. This was my first read of 2023. I did not like this book, but this is not a review. This is a haul. This follows like 6 finalists. Yeah. Who are competing for a scholarship to stay at this college, and things go crazy, but yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. And then, as you can tell, I barely started this book. This is Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams by Matthew Walker, PhD. It's a nonfiction about sleep. Then there's Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This follows Hannah, who is, I believe, at a New Year's Eve party when she's 29. And she has to choose between going home with her boyfriend or staying at the party with her best friend. And this is like the parallel universes. She gets to live out both choices and then make her final decision. And I think there's commentary on like how one choice can change everything for you. Things like that. Then we have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I already told you what this was about. Not the Girl You Marry by Andy J. Christopher. This is basically a gender-swapped How to Lose Guy in 10 Days. It's supposed to be a real fun rom-com, and that's all that I needed to know. Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This was an add-on for Book of the Month in November, I think. But basically you follow this divorced couple named Yasmin and Josiah. Yasmin and Josiah, they're divorced, they're trying to co-parent and run a business together even though they're not married anymore. And this is kind of about them coming to the resolution that maybe they gave up too early on their marriage and maybe they want to give it another shot. Then in December, as a Book of the Month member, you get a free add-on of one of the top 5 books of the year. I had only not read 2 of them, and one of them I was not interested in. So I'm really not interested in this one either, but this is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriel Zevin. This won Book of the Year last year. It's sci-fi. It's about this friendship between these 2 video game designers. Then there's Lust Killer by Anne Rule, the shocking true story of a serial killer who turned his violent fantasies into reality. I don't know a lot about this story, but I'm obsessed with true crime and serial killers, so. Then there's Palmistry, Your Highway to Life. Again, I'm getting back into that. Just Wait for It by Jen McKinley. This follows Annabelle, who runs away from her life. She turns 30. She runs away from her life because her relationship didn't work out and she feels like she has a dead-end career. So she runs away from Boston, moves to Arizona, and I think the guy that she's renting a room from, so her landlord, she falls in love with him. Then Faker by Sarah Smith. A Love Built to Last, Some Assembly Required. This follows Emmy, who works at a construction company, and she feels like, I think she's the only girl working there, but she feels like an imposter, like she really shouldn't be there. But she fakes her way through her job, and then she ends up fake dating someone that she works with, and then you know how fake dating turns into real life and feelings get involved, and I'm here for it. Then I found A Danger to Herself and Others by Alyssa Shinmel. This is a young adult, hard-hitting contemporary. It wasn't my fault. Accidents happen. Then I have The Island by Adrienne McKinney. Adrienne McKinney wrote The Chain, which was one of my favorite books in 2022. But this one follows a family vacation turned nightmare. Then I have The Babysitter by Lisa Rodman and Jennifer Jordan. My Summers with a Serial Killer. So this is a nonfiction about the babysitter who was also a serial killer. Then I have Bet Me by Jennifer Cruz. Minerva Dobbs knows that happily ever after is a fairy tale, especially with a man who asked her to dinner to win a bet. Even if he is gorgeous and successful, Calvin. Cal knows commitment is impossible, especially with a woman as cranky as men. Then I have Isn't It Bromantic by Lisa K. Adams. I think this is the third book in the Romance Book Club series, and like I said, I just don't want to be afraid of series anymore. Then we have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. In 2022, I read the entire Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, and that was by Holly Jackson. So I know that I like Holly Jackson's writing. This is another young adult thriller. This is about this road trip that goes wrong. I think there's 6 friends, 8 hours, 6 friends, 5 survive. We only have 2 more piles left. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. I cannot believe how many books are surrounding me, though. I mean, for my Secret Santa exchange at work, I did get a book. This one is The Best Is Yet to Come by Debbie McComber. This takes place in Washington, which is super cool because I'm from Washington. When a woman alone in the world bravely chooses to open her heart, 2 lost souls have a new chance at belonging. A new beginning in charming Oceanside, Washington is exactly what Hope needs after the death of her twin brother. There are plenty of distractions, like her cozy cottage with the slightly noisy landlord and nosy landlord next door, and a brewing drama among her students at the local high school. So she's also a teacher. I mean, she's high school, so scary, but she's still a teacher. And then after she settles into the community, she starts volunteering at this dog shelter where she meets this dog named Shadow, which, like, growing up, I had a dog named Shadow as well. So I just see so many connections between me and Hannah. I just said her name. Hope. Me and Hope. Then I have The Rehearsals by Annette Christie. This follows Tom and Megan. Tom and Megan, who are getting ready to get married. They can't survive the rehearsal dinner though. Like, everything goes wrong in the rehearsal dinner. So then there's like this Groundhog Day effect where they keep reliving the same day over and over and over on rehearsal dinner. So they're never going to get to their wedding unless they make the rehearsal dinner right. Then I have The Distant Dead by Heather Young. And I don't entirely remember this. How do you balance the ledger of your life? A body burns in the high desert hills. A boy walks into a fire station, pale with the shock of a grisly discovery. A middle school teacher worries when her colleague is late for work. By day's end, when the body is identified as local math teacher Adam, a small-town Nevada town will be rocked to its core by a brutal and calculated murderer. I just like books about teachers. I can't explain that one, okay? Just like I can't explain why I'm obsessed with serial killers. No connection. Like, I'm a teacher. So obviously I like books about teaching because I'm a teacher. But I have no idea why I'm obsessed with serial killers. This one's called Hello, Charlie, Letters from a Serial Killer by Charlie Heath and Davin C. How 3 cold case cops took on one of America's most notorious mass murderers. Then we have Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This was a fantasy add-on a few months ago from Book of the Month. So, a deeply atmospheric story about ancestral magic, an unsolved murder, and a second chance at true love. Then there's Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Centeno. This is a murder mystery fun time. So I think what happens is Madeline, is her name Madeline? I don't know. This main character right here. She goes on a blind date and she accidentally kills the guy that she's on a blind date with, and she calls her aunts and they come help dispose of the body and help her cover up the murder. I'm told that it's like ridiculous and fun, so I might just need like a lighthearted book at some point this year because a lot of my TBR is not lighthearted. So then there's Reputation by Sarah Shepard. Everybody's got something to hide. Sarah Shepard wrote Pretty Little Liars, but this is a new adult or an adult. Aldridge University is a polished and prestigious institution, home to an elite student body and a top hospital. But a hack of the entire faculty, staff, student, and alumni email accounts reveals the lies lurking beneath the school's perfect veneer. For December of 2022, I picked All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham because I read A Flicker in the Dark in January of 2022, so ending the year the same way that I started it. That was a 4-star for me. This is another thriller. 1 year ago, Isabel's life changed forever. Her toddler son, Mason, was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night. Okay. Then we have Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughn. Some people's secrets are darker than others. A shocking confession, a high-profile trial, a scandalous unfolding. Sophie has a lovely home, 2 adorable children, and a handsome, successful husband. In other words, she has the perfect life. But everything changes the night her husband, James, comes home and confesses to an affair. Suddenly, her neat, ordered life is turned upside down. Did she really know the man she married? Then we have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Knox Morgan doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a stranded runaway bride. So I believe that this follows Naomi, who is looking for her estranged twin sister, Tina. And I think that Tina and Naomi had this rocky relationship, but for some reason, Naomi let her borrow her car. Tina wrecked Naomi's car, and left her 10-year-old niece, her 2-year-old niece. It doesn't say how old she is. But Tina left the niece that Naomi didn't know about in her care, and now she signed over her parental rights to Naomi. Then there's The Stand-Up Groomsman by Jackie Liu. Again, I read Do Not Fall in Love, and that was really cute. This one I think is going to be another fun rom-com. Follows this guy. He's a stand-up comedian, and I'm not sure what she does, but I think they go out a couple of times and they don't really hit it off, so nothing comes of it. But then 2 or 3 years later, their best friends are getting married, and they are going to the wedding as like the maid of honor and the best man. And so they're kind of on at the wedding as dates, but not really. Before I Do by Sophie Consensus. This follows Audrey, who's getting married to Josh. But the night of their rehearsal dinner, Josh's little sister brings Fred as her date to the rehearsal dinner. And Fred is the one that got away for Audrey. So it's kind of, I think that it's going to be very complicated. Then I got sent this arc that came out in November. This is The Man I Never Met by Elle Cook. This man calls her on the phone, and he thinks that he's interviewing for a job, but he dialed the wrong number. They start talking, they fall in love over the phone, and then he's Colin. His name is Colin. I don't know. I think his name is Colin. I think her name is Hannah. And Colin is moving to the UK after he gets the job, and now they're going to meet for the first time, even though they already fell in love. Then there's The Summer Job by Lizzie Dent. What if you could be someone else just for the summer? So this is another rom-com. Birdie has made a mistake. Everyone imagines running away from their life at some point, but Birdie has actually done it. When her best friend Heather ditches a summer gig at a hotel in the Scottish Highlands, Birdie covers for her. The only problem is she hasn't told Heather, and Heather happens to be a world-class wine expert, which Birdie decidedly is not. Then we have The Most Likely Club by Elsa Fredland. This follows these 4 women who in high school were like popular, and they were the most likely to be prom queen, most likely to be successful, most likely, all that kind of stuff. And now I think it's their 20-year reunion, and that's all I know. Then I have Taylor Jenkins Reid, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I recently read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hardcastle. No, that is wrong. I recently read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I didn't really like it, so I'm a little scared because this one follows a rock band in the 70s. Historical fiction. I guess we'll see. Then I bought these because they're Colleen Hoover, but there's Without Merit and November 9. Okay, so we have 1 stack of books left, And this one, which is another ARC that was sent to me. So thank you. There's 1,000 Miles to Graceland by Kristen May Chase. I think this is a mother-daughter road trip in which they are trying to go to Graceland for Elvis. Grace can't escape the feeling that her life is on autopilot until her husband announces he's done with their marriage. Grace has a choice: swallow or grant her outlandish mother's 70th birthday wish with a road trip to Graceland. Whew, we're almost there. So there's Wicca, a modern practitioner's guide. So nonfiction, to help me. And I'll just go through all of them. The Book of Practical Witchcraft, a compendium of spells, rituals, and occult knowledge by Pamela Ball. And, Natural Mandalas by Lisa Tizan-Dolma. 30 new meditations to help you find peace and awareness in the beauty of nature. So, those are all, help me get back to my spiritual side. Then I have Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. She does everything right. So what could go wrong? Mac is a people pleaser. It's exhausting, really always following the rules. All she wants to do is focus on growing her internet business. But first she must get a college degree at her parents' insistence. That means moving to the beachside town of Avalon Bay, a community made up of the locals and the wealthy students at Garnet College. Then another Colleen Hoover's Ugly Love. Then there's The I-5 Killer by Anne Rule, the true story of the NFL draftee who became a perverted serial killer. And I do actually remember this. There's a movie about it too. I think I've seen the movie. But this follows, it's nonfiction, so it really happened, but I remember I always lived, so my parents are divorced. They've always been divorced, but my dad had a house right off I-5, and I remember, hearing about some of the horrendous things that he did. And I have tried to read this book before, not this version because this one I just bought, but I couldn't really get into it. I want to give it another shot because it is a case that still intrigues me. Then there's the Dream Workbook, Auras and Chakras, so more spiritual books. And then I have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pelanian, to forget everything I had left behind, the sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I met Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't read it, but I think that Archer is deaf. That would make sense. And the last book for this extremely large haul, I'm going to try and put a number right here of how many books I hauled today. This is a nonfiction. This is The Anatomy of Motive by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker. The FBI's legendary Mindhunter explores the key to understanding and catching violent criminals. I don't understand how people could, murder people. I know a lot of motive is money or, a cheating spouse or whatever, but, are those really good enough reasons to kill? No, they're not. So I just want to explore the topic of motive a little more. I read The Killer Across the Table by this author duo in 2022, and I really enjoyed it. So I just want to explore some more titles by these authors. Thank you so much for sitting with me and talking some bookish things and hanging out and figuring out this whole haul situation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. My goal was to put these away tonight and organize my shelves, but you know what? I'm tired, so I don't think that's gonna happen.